勇敢地往前冲吧。有想法就有办法，有办法就不用怕，我们一起到达。我相信我可以，有目标就往上爬。
你相信你可以，勇敢地往前冲吧。
有想法就有办法，有办法就不用怕，我们一起到达。
我相信我可以，有目标就往上爬。
你相信你可以，勇敢地往前冲吧。到达是 number one， 强大的企业家，超越表现的力量，我们一起到达是 number one， 强大的企业家，超越表现的力量。我相信我可以，有目标就往上爬。
你相信你可以。
Hi everyone, very good afternoon to all of you. Wow, you guys are so early. Now we're gonna start at 3 o'clock. We're gonna start at 3 o'clock today. And today is the very first time, it's the very first episode of our Secrets Reveal Techniques to Solve Tax Audit Issues. Now, you know what? If you don't want your friends, your family, or business associates to miss this session, because this is the very first session of which I'll be sharing with you how to solve tax audit issues by the Inland Revenue Board. If you don't want them to miss it, right? If you don't want your friends, your family, your business associates to miss this Facebook live session, do one thing right now. Look at the bottom of your screen. You will see the share button. Whether you're seeing it from a phone, or you're viewing it from a computer, you will see the share button. Click the share button right now so that you can share this Facebook Live out with all your friends so that they could also learn together with you on how to solve the tax audit issues. Yeah. Today, I'm gonna reveal secrets, right? My secrets to you on how to handle them. All right. So if you don't want to miss it, stay tuned with us. We're gonna start at 3 o'clock. And share this out with all your friends, family, and your business associates as well, yeah? I'll see you in just a few minutes time at 3 o'clock sharp, and we will learn how to deal with the tax issue, all right? Okay, I'll see you at 3 o'clock, and I'll see you soon. Hi, a very good afternoon to all of you. Wow, it's at 3 o'clock already. It's at 3 o'clock. Well, we're supposed to start today's FB Live, Facebook Live session, our very first episode on techniques to solve tax audit issues, because I'm going to reveal my secrets to you on how to handle tax audit issues. Yeah, but you know what, a lot of friends are still coming in, a lot of people are still coming in into our Facebook Live today. So you know what, let's start this in another 5 more minutes, right? We're gonna start sharp this time. We're gonna start sharp at 3:05 for another 5 more minutes, right? So take this opportunity right now, or since we're gonna start in another 5 more minutes, take this opportunity right now to share this Facebook Live with your friends, your family, your business associates, anyone that you think who wants to learn how to solve tax audit issues. Yeah, so today I'm gonna reveal my secrets to all of you, right? So if you want to learn this secret on how to handle tax audit issues when you got audited by the Inland Revenue Board, make sure you stay tuned to this Facebook Live. We're going to start at 3:05, and take this opportunity right now. Share this out with all your friends, family, business associates, so that they will also learn together with you, because this is a rare opportunity that I am revealing my secret on how to solve tax audit issues. Yeah, so in just another few more minutes, we start sharp this time at 3:05. Yeah, 3:05 we're going to start, so stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and I'll see you at 3:05.
我相信我可以，有目标就往上爬。你相信你可以，勇敢地往前冲吧。有想法就有办法，有办法就不用怕，我们一起到达。
是 number one， 强大的企业家，超越表现的力量，我们一起到达。是 number one， 强大的企业家，超越表现的力量。
我相信我可以，有目标就往上爬。你相信你可以，勇敢地往前冲吧。有想法就有办法，有办法就不用怕，我们一起到达。
Okay, everyone, are you ready to learn how to solve tax audit issues? Are you ready to learn my secrets? The secrets that I'm going to reveal to you today on how to solve tax audit issues. Now, you know what? 3:05, and we're going to start today's session, yeah? Right? Today, you are going to learn the secrets that I'm going to reveal to you on techniques how to solve tax audit issues. Now, we have close to 100 people right now. We have close to 100 people right now on this Facebook Live. And you know what? If you don't want your friends to miss this, seriously, if you don't want your friends to miss this secret being revealed today, now, share this Facebook Live to your friends, right? Click the share button, right? Click the share button. Look at the bottom of your screen, whether you're viewing it from your phone or you're viewing it from your notebook or your computer. You will see the share button. Click that share button so that you can share this out to your friends, family, business associates. Yeah. Okay. Today, right? We are doing our very first episode. Yeah, our very first episode on secrets revealed, techniques to solve tax audit issues. Now, I know a lot of you here would be wondering, wow, what kind of techniques am I going to learn? Now, I think you know that whenever you got audited, tax audit, right, from the Inland Revenue Board, you'll be afraid. You'll be very afraid on how should I handle this? How should I solve this, right? So in this series, in this Facebook Live series, I am going to share with you my secret on how should you handle tax audit issues, and I'm going to discuss various issues with all of you. So today, the very first episode, I'm going to talk about the very first technique, right? The very first technique that would actually potentially help you save a lot of tax if you know how to handle it. Now, before I begin, they're close to 100 people. Can I just ask a very simple question before I start today's session? Yeah. All right. How many of you here actually join our Facebook Live for the very first time? How many of you actually joined for the very first time? Now, I mean, you could have joined my previous Facebook Live session on other things, but if you come in for the very first time and this is the first time that you see me, can you just put into the comment box and tell me this is your first time, right? You can say first time, just say first time over there, yeah? So how many of you first timer? I need to know how many first timer are there. We have close to 100 people right now. How many first timers are there who join us in our Facebook Live? That means you come and see me for the very first time. Put first timer under the comment box. Let me see how many of you are actually a first timer, because you know what, I like this to be a very interactive session, because you see, throughout this whole Facebook Live, feel free to ask me questions. Feel free to ask any questions you want. I'll be answering to all your questions. Because I know you definitely have a lot of questions and queries behind and thinking on how do we do this. Yeah. So if you are a first timer, please now tell me your first time. Wow, I see Eunice Ao Yong is a first timer. Eva Lewis, Chin Yan Yan, Celine Kaur. Wow, you guys are all the first timer. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you are joining us for the very first time, okay. Oh, Jean said, watch my previous live stream. So I believe this is definitely your first time joining our live stream for tax audit issues, yeah, because this is our very first episode, Jean. Okay, thank you so much. Now, I know if you are a first timer, you've not seen me before. Now, people call me the tax guru of YYC. Well, people call me the tax guru of YYC, and of course, my name is Zen Chow, right? So now, in case you're wondering, hey, who is YYC over here? Now, who is YYC? Now, let me just do a very brief introduction on who YYC is. Yeah. Now, YYC is actually an accounting and advisory firm. Right? We were established since 1974. Right? And our aim is to empower entrepreneurial success. Now, so you say, hey, I'm the tax guru of YYC, but that's just a title, yeah? The fact is that I'm actually the tax director. I'm the tax director as well as the head of tax department of YYC Group, all right? So who is YYC over here? Now, YYC, of course, is an accounting and advisory firm, and our vision is to be the #1 accounting and advisory firm in Asia. Our mission is even more important. We want to inspire everyone to overcome their odds, unleash the potential, right? And more importantly, find fulfillment in life. That's a very important mission. And in YYC, we have 3 very important brand promises. 3 very important brand promises. And see, the first one is to share our expertise. You see, why do we do this Facebook Live again? Now, why do we actually want to reveal our secret on how to solve tax audit issues? That's because we want to share our expertise. And we also want to show our proactive care to our client. Not just normal care, but proactive care. Because we want all our clients to have the most positive experience ever. Yeah. Now, if you're wondering, hey, YYC, is YYC just a normal accounting firm? Nope, not really a normal accounting firm, because a normal accounting firm would have just the compliance services like audit service, tax service, accounting service. But in YYC, we have more than that, right? We have advisory services as well, right? Like strategic planning, like restructuring, valuation, even cloud transformation, yeah? And we have our own business school. That means we hold a lot of seminars, workshops from time to time. We also do global business service, right? That means we also serve overseas company like outsource payroll, outsource accounting, etc. Yeah. So YYC, right? Established since 1974, so we are not young, but we're 46 years old this year. We also call ourselves an international company. Yes, we call ourselves an international company. Why? Because we don't just have branch in Malaysia, but also in Singapore, right? We have more than 800 employees. We have more than 20,000 clients, and we have trained more than 120,000 participants throughout all our workshops, because we have held more than 5,000 workshops. Now, these are all the awards given to YYC throughout these years. Okay, so now if you're wondering, hey, so YYC, well, where are your branches? Now, of course, just like I mentioned, we have a branch in Singapore. That's why we are an international firm right now. But apart from that, in Malaysia, we also have branches in Klang Valley area, Johor, and in Penang as well. Now, having said that, now we have more than 100 people already right now. Yeah, we have more than 100 people viewing our Facebook Live today on techniques to solve tax audit issues. Yeah, but let me just do some more interactive stuff with you all, right? And like I always said, I don't like to just speak alone. It's gonna be pretty boring. Yeah. So can I just know, where are you coming from? No, where are you from? Where are you viewing today's Facebook Live from? Maybe you can just put in the comment box right now. Tell me, where are you from? That means which state are you from, or which town are you from, or which city are you from? You know, you can just tell me, where are you from? If you're from Kuala Lumpur, if you're from KL, you can tell me more specifically, like which area of Kuala Lumpur are you from, right? Just let me have some more interaction with you, and just to get to know, where are you viewing today's Facebook Live, yeah? All right, so tell me, where are you from? Put in the comment box, and let me know which city, which state, which town, or which area, right, are you coming from, right? Let me have some response from your side. Now, come on, I see Silphon telling me she's from JB, yeah, from JB. I have Puyi from Klang. I have Ricky Tam from JB. I have Chin Yan Yan from Kota Kinabalu. Wow, that's East Malaysia, yeah. I have Eva Louis from KL. Jin E is from Ampang, that is Klang Valley area. Joanne is from PJ. Richard Lyon is from KL Cheras. Yusanisma is from Puchong Jaya. Wow, that's also Klang Valley area. Celine Ko is from Shah Alam Kota Kemuning. LF Lee from Subang Jaya. Wow, we have another one from Puchong. Eunice. Wow, Lai Jessie from KL. Wow, so looks like you guys are all around Malaysia, right? We have someone from the northern part, central Malaysia, southern part, and even East Malaysia. That's someone say he or she is from Kota Kinabalu. Yeah, Chin Yan Yan. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us, but I know today we want to talk about this, and today is the very first episode, yeah? Today is the very first episode that we want to reveal our secret on tax audit and investigation issues, right? So today, what do we want to discuss? Now, again, let me remind you, at any time, if you have got any questions at all, feel free to put into the comment box, right? Feel free to put into the comment box to ask me questions. I'll definitely answer to all your questions regarding the issue. And today, the very first issue that we want to talk about, right, for this current episode is interest restriction. Yes, interest restriction. Now, you probably have not heard about interest restriction. Of course, some of you may have, some of you may have not. So what is interest restriction all about? Now, what is this all about? Why is this an issue? Why this could be an issue when the Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia comes to audit on your account, and how could this actually make you pay more tax? Now, you have to understand one thing. Under the subsection 33 bracket 2 of the Income Tax Act, yeah, the section 33 bracket 2 of the Income Tax Act says what? It says, yeah, if you take up a loan, right, if you have borrowed some money, right, and if you have used the borrowed money from your loan for the purposes of business as well as non-business, if you use it for the purposes of business as well as for non-business, the interest expense charged to the profit and loss account may not be allowed a full deduction. It says if you take up a loan, right, you can call it a business loan, right? But if you use the money not just for business purpose, you also used it for non-business purposes, this interest expense that you pay to the bank, it may not be fully allowable. That means part of it has to be added back. Part of it will be disallowed by the Inland Revenue Board. Now you may ask me, what is non-business purposes over here? What do we mean by non-business purpose? Well, it can be a lot of things. For example, you take up a loan, you use the money to lend to someone. You could lend it to, let's say, your director. Lend it to some of your debtors, other debtors. You could have lent out the money that you borrowed. Or you could have used this money to invest in something else. Invest in properties, invest in shares. These are non-business. These are non-business purposes. Yeah. So if you have used your money for non-business purposes, then a certain amount of the interest cannot be allowed, and therefore you will see no full deduction for your interest expense. So now, what happened to our case today here is we have got a company, we have got a client, of which the Inland Revenue Board came to audit and found out that this company has some investment, right? So this Inland Revenue Board came, the Inland Revenue Board audited our client's account and found out that, hey, this client of ours took up a loan, and this loan is not only used for business purpose but also for non-business purpose, and therefore the Inland Revenue Board then says, oh, this interest expense cannot be fully deductible, right? Part of it should be added back, non-deductible. But of course, our client argued the other way. The client says, no, my loan is actually all used for business purpose, right? It's not used for non-business. So why is the Inland Revenue Board saying that this is used for non-business purpose, right? So let's look at the case. Now, first, when the Inland Revenue Board came to audit, the Inland Revenue Board disallowed certain interest expenses claimed by the company and therefore restrict the interest expense against the investment incurred, because the Inland Revenue Board found out that the company has some investment. The company found out that the Inland Revenue Board found out the company has some investment, and therefore the Inland Revenue Board suspect that the borrowed money is not wholly and exclusively used in the production of gross income. That means the Inland Revenue Board suspect this money could have been used for investment purpose. And why did IRB say so? Because the IRB found out this one. Yeah, the IRB found out that in the accounts of the client actually has investment in its balance sheet. In its balance sheet, there's an investment, right? So what the Inland Revenue Board then do is they suspect this money is not wholly used for the company business, it's also used for investment. So the Inland Revenue Board then use a formula, right? The formula used is they will take the total investment that you have against the total loan that you have taken, multiplied it by the interest expense that you have incurred. Now, by doing that, that means we take A over B multiplied by C. This interest is then called attributable to the investment. That means that the interest incurred is not really for business purpose, but for investment purpose, and this total interest is then added back. It's not allowed. It's not allowed at all. So, how do we help the client? Now, if this happened to you, let's say this happened to you, you probably would say, oh, okay, according to the Income Tax Act, right, according to Section 33, Sub 2, it does say that, when the money is used for other purpose, I can't do anything. I just have to let the IRB add back and I'll just have to pay additional tax. But is that really the case? Not really. So what we did here is we went in, we analyzed the whole issue for our client. We look at the source of the source of fund for this investment. Yes, indeed, the client has got investment, right? But where was the source? How did the client have the source of fund to invest into all these investments? So what we did here is we analyze this. We say, if I could prove that the investments, right, have not been financed by the loan, right? So if the investment has not been financed by the loan, then the investment has got no relationship with the loan, and therefore the loan interest should be fully deductible. So what we do here is we want to prove that the investments and loans have not been financed either partially or wholly, direct or indirectly, from the borrowed money. Now, you see, in the client's account, indeed there is an increase in other receivables, right? That means the IRB says the money that you receive, you should have used to lend someone, right? You have used to lend it to someone. Therefore, the other receivables increased. And at the same time, the fixed deposit also increased from nothing to something. So this is an investment. So the IRB says your investment has increased, your fixed deposit has increased, and you also have other receivables. That means you should have used your loaned money for something else, not for business. But what we did here is we look into other parts of the balance sheet. Look at this one, amount due to directors. Now, amount due to director represents what? Money lent by the director to the company, right? Money lent by the director to the company. So can you see there is a huge increase over here? Can you see there's a huge increase from 800 over 1,000? It increases to 1.7 million. 800,000 increase to 1.7 million. That's an increase of 900,000. That's an increase of 900,000 over here. So what we did here was we look into the accounts of the amount of due to directors, and we look into the accounts of other receivables, and we found out that under other receivables, not all of these other receivables are actually amount lent to the other receivables, right? That means the company did not actually lend a lot of money to other receivables, right? A lot of them are actually deposits and prepayments made by the company. Yeah. So, and at the same time, we look into the amount due to directors, and you know what we found? We found this, right? We analyzed the general ledger, and we see that the director actually advanced money, their own money, into the company. Look at this. The director lent 700,000 to the company, then lent another 300,000 to the company, and this is for fixed deposit. See that? And therefore, what it means? It means the investment of the company, right? The fixed deposit of the company does not come from the amount borrowed, right? The fixed deposit money comes from the director. And at the same time, even though the other receivables has increased, but because not all of them are relating to lending, right? Lending to someone. So this amount of 700,000 is also an amount advanced by the director, and the money used to lend out to someone comes from the director. So what we were trying to prove here is investments and loans were actually financed from the loan. Now, because of that, the IRB agreed. The IRB then agreed because of this analysis, right? We show the IRB the analysis of movement of fund, and the Inland Revenue Board agreed to this and dropped the whole issue. And that means the client does not have to pay more tax and penalty for interest restriction, and the whole interest is then deductible for income tax purpose. Now, so what is the whole moral of the story over here? What's the moral of the story over here? It means if you were to borrow money, or to lend money to someone, you got to ensure that the loan agreement, especially if you borrow money from the bank, you got to ensure that the agreement states clearly the intention and the usage of the loan. Why are you taking such a loan? Is this for working capital? Is this used for financing of a property? Is this used for financing of a plant and machinery? Now, the intention and the usage has to be clearly spelled out so that you know what is the usage of the loan. And you got to track the usage record as well, right? To ensure that the loan is utilized in the production of business income, you got to track the usage, just like what I've shown you in the general ledger, right? If the general ledger shows clearly that any money received is used for some specific purpose, that is how you track the usage. And this will be very useful when it comes to argument with the Inland Revenue Board. Of course, if you can maintain a separate account, between the loan taken and for investment purpose, right? So you got to do a separate account for your loan and what's the usage of the loan, and also maintain a separate account for the investment account. Yeah, so that you will see clearly where the money comes from. Now, if in case, if you really need to lend the money that you have borrowed to someone else, make sure you charge interest. Make sure you charge interest using the money that you have borrowed. When you lend it to someone, you charge interest to the person whom you lend the money to. Because if you have charged interest, this interest income that you receive, right, it can be actually be deducted by the interest expense suffered. That means, yeah, if you have borrowed money from the bank, you have to pay interest. Yeah, this interest is then utilized to deduct against the interest that you will receive when you lend the money out back to someone, and therefore you can ensure full deductibility of the interest expense incurred. Yeah, so with this, you can ensure that you will not be trapped by this interest restriction issue. See that? So now, I hope you have learned something today. I hope today it's something that you have really learned, right? And of course, I know you probably have some questions. I know you probably have something that you have in mind that you want to ask. Feel free to put into the comment box. Feel free to put in the comment box and ask me questions, because I'm going to answer to all your questions. Yeah, all right. But let me tell you, today is the very first episode of which we are sharing one issue, interest restriction. But you gotta stay tuned with us because we have more issues to share with you. But in case if you have received a tax audit letter, in case if you tell me that, hey, right now I have received a letter and this letter says I have got this tax audit issue, that tax audit issue, which requires me to pay more tax or pay more penalty, feel free to send us a message on Facebook. Either you can send us a Facebook message on our YYC Advisors page or my own Facebook page, that's Tax Guru Zen Chow. Send us a message, show us your tax audit findings letter so that we can give you a complimentary online consultation and help you to solve the tax audit issues. Yeah, because we are here to solve your tax audit issues. So if you have received any letter at all, feel free to send us a message and we will do a complimentary online consultation for you. All right, so I'm opening this up for questions. Right, today we are discussing about one issue, and I would like to open this up to everyone. If you have got any questions at all, put it up into your comment box so that I can answer to your questions. Yeah, all right, any questions at all, come, I'm opening this up. Put it into your comment box and I'm seeing all the comments, all the questions from your side. Okay, now let me just drink some water and see if there are any questions from your side. Okay, any questions at all? Let me just scroll over here and see if there's any questions from you. Okay, let's see. All right. So any questions? We have more than 100 people viewing this, and Jean is having this question. Now, Jean is asking how to track usage of the loan, cash in and cash out. Yeah, very good question, Jean, right? Very good question. Yeah, you asked a question on how to track the usage of the loan. It's pretty simple. All you need to do is to put the usage correctly into your general ledger. Now, look at the general ledger that I've shown you earlier. Now, this is the director's account. You see, when the director pump in money into the company, right? There is a 300,000 over here, of which the description straight away says fixed deposit, right? Straight away the ledger says fixed deposit, right? So of course, at the same time, if you can have the other side, right? The other side of the account, the fixed deposit account, right? That shows there's a loan from director 300,000, and if this is proof, if this is proven by the documents that this 300,000 indeed happened during this time, right, 31st of July, right, then it proves the whole usage. It proves the whole usage. So what you need to do is clearly state the intention, the usage of your loan into your description, and of course supported by supporting documents, and that will make it very easy when it comes to tax audit, because then we will know what is the usage of the loan, and it will not be jumbled up by saying that this could be used for some other purposes like non-business purposes, because that would cause you to have more tax and penalty, right? Yeah, so Jean, I hope I've answered to you. Okay, the next question here is from Nyuk Fen. Okay, my company is investment company. Yeah, directors have advanced to the company to pay out all loan. Does amount due to directors need to charge interest? Okay, now Yokfan, okay, you say that your company is an investment company. Yeah, so directors always pump in the money to the company, right, to pay out loan. That means the company has take up a loan, and to repay the loan, the director has to put in money, right, to pay the loan. So your question is, do you need to charge interest, right? Directors need to charge interest or not, because directors has put in money into the company. Now, this is a amount due to director, yeah? So it's really up to the company whether you want to charge interest to the director or not, right? So if you say this company, right, has borrowed money from the director and the director charged the company an interest, now this interest, right, may not be deductible. You have to understand that. Why? Because what's the usage of the loan? If the usage of the loan is to be used to pay out other loans, right, then this interest can only be used to deduct against the rental income, maybe, right? Because you say, I take up a loan, right, and this loan is used to finance a property. But are you sure this loan is to be used to pay to finance a property? Now, it may not, because the loan used to finance a property is the loan taken from the bank, not the money borrowed from the director. So you see, if the money is then borrowed from the director, and if the director charged an interest, this interest may not be deductible at all, because it's not directly used to purchase a property, to finance a loan, right? So to finance a property. So you gotta be very careful. If the director really charged the company an interest, right, the company may not get deduction on this, right? So you gotta be very careful with this, yeah? So now it's really all up to you. If the director says, I still need to charge you an interest, then, well, the director has to charge. But if the director doesn't need to charge, then I would say, without charging any interest, we'll be okay, we'll be good enough, yeah? Okay, next, I have Eunice over here. Eunice Ao Young has got a question over here, and Eunice says, got business loan from the bank, partially put into FD. Any issue to take note? Very, very important, yeah, Eunice. Now, you gotta really understand it. Just now, when we talk about interest restriction, it's all about you take up a loan, you have to serve interest, you gotta pay interest for the loan, and this loan is not used for business purpose. That is why we have interest restriction. Look at this section 33 sub 2. What does it say? It says if a person has borrowed money for purposes of business as well as for non-business, the interest may not be fully allowable. So, Eunice, if you take up a loan from the bank, this money, you put it into fixed deposit. Fixed deposit is non-business purpose. It is an investment. It is non-business purpose. And therefore, what you need to take note here is there will be interest restriction. There will be an interest restriction using this formula again, because we have to then look at what is your total investment, right? What is the value of your FD, your fixed deposit? How much have you borrowed from the bank, right, for you to put money, right, into the FD? And then you gotta use this formula, A divided by B multiplied by your interest, and that portion is non-deductible in the company. All right, of course, that portion of interest could be deducted against the interest income, right? It can be deducted against the interest income, but it will not be deductible as business expense when it comes to tax computation of your company. So, Eunice, I will not recommend you to take up a business loan and put money into a fixed deposit. Why? Because the interest that you have to pay to the bank is definitely higher than the interest you earn from the fixed deposit. And you would see that even though you say I can deduct it against my fixed deposit income, you will find that your interest restricted is even larger, right? It's too big to deduct against your interest income, and therefore you will see some of the interest being restricted and it is not utilized at all, right? So I would say if you want to put money into fixed deposit, it is best to not use loan from a bank, right? Okay, Eunice? Okay, next question I have Hester Shim. Hester Shim over here says, hi Zen, fixed deposit required by bank as securities is considered as investment or other receivables, and whether it is subject to interest restriction. Hester, even though I understand sometimes you got to pledge an FD, you got to pledge a fixed deposit with the bank, right, for you to take up another loan. But an FD is an FD. An FD is still an investment. I know you will say it's a security, right? But it is still an investment because you still earn interest income from there. So interest restriction will still kick in. Interest restriction will still kick in. Unless you can again show that the amount of the money that you use to put into the fixed deposit has nothing got to do with a loan taken, right? It has got nothing to do with the loan, right? That means you put FD first, then only you take up a loan. Now, see, the sequence is very important. If you can show that I am using my own fund, I'm using my own money to put money into investment, and thereafter only I take up a loan. So the loan has got nothing to do with the money I put into FD, then this FD or this loan interest that you have to pay to the bank thereafter will not be subject to interest restriction, right? That means it will not be affected by the FD that you put as security, right? But you got to look at the sequence, which one comes first, right? So that is very important again, yeah, Hester? So I hope I've answered to you, and I hope you will learn from this, yeah? All right, the sequence is very important. Okay, another question, let's see. I have here Jen Chong. Jen Chong say, if need chargeback interest, how to charge? What interest rate should be taken? Okay, Jen, I would say if you were to charge interest, this one, the last one, yeah. If you were to charge interest, right, on to the person whom you lent money to, right, whom you lent money to, I would suggest charge the interest rate using the market rate, the commercial lending rate, right? If you still say, okay, what is the commercial lending rate? I do not know what's the commercial lending rate. It's actually available from the Bank Negara's website, yeah, right? If you go to the Bank Negara's website, you'll be able to find the average commercial lending rate. But if you still think that, is that the rate that I must follow? Now, at least, I would say at least, yeah, charge the interest at least equivalent to the interest you are being charged. That means if you take up a loan from the bank, you are being charged an interest, right? You're being charged an interest, right? Charge the person whom you lend money to the same amount, at least the same amount of what you're being charged. Why? Why do I want you to do that? Because only by doing that, you can fully utilize, the interest that has been restricted. Because you see, when you take money, when you loan money, borrow money in, and you lend it out to someone, this interest over here is not deductible, right? It's not deductible, but it can be deducted against the interest income that you receive because you lend money out to someone. So if this interest is equivalent to this interest income, that means you're not losing off. You're not losing off because this one it gets restricted, this one it gets restricted, but it is deductible against this interest income. So this interest income would then have this interest expense to deduct against, and it becomes zero. Right? So this interest income that you receive, there's no tax to be paid because it becomes zero. And this interest that's being restricted is fully utilized against your income. See that? So if I would say at least charge back the interest that you have incurred. Okay? Alright, so that's for Jen Chow. I have Ada Wei. Ada Wei here says, if my tax file registered in LHDN branch A, can LHDN branch B open my file and audit me? Now, Ada Wei, most likely it won't happen. Most of the time, if your file is with one branch A, branch B will usually not touch it, right? They will not touch it and they will not audit your case. But let me remind you, right? There are a few more special branches in LHDN, in Inland Revenue Board, such as the investigation branch, such as the special operation branch, special operation unit. Now, these branches, these units, they can take up cases from any branch. they can take up cases from any branch. So don't be surprised that if your case is parked under one branch and then suddenly the investigation unit comes and take up the case. That could happen. But if you say, for example, if your case is parked with a Cheras branch, right? You wouldn't see a Wangsa Maju branch came in and and open up the case. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. All right. So I hope I've answered to you, Ada. Okay, I have Yusanisma. Yusanisma asked this question. We don't use loan to put in our FD, but still the interest is not deductible in our tax computation. Now, why is that so, Yusmanisma? If you say you don't put loan into FD, right, but the interest is not deductible, then you really have to find out what is the usage of the loan. Is this loan used for business? Because you see, the loan must be utilized in the production of business income, then only you'll be able to get a tax deduction, right? So if you say this is non-deductible, right, perhaps you say you face some tax audit issues and the Inland Revenue Board doesn't allow the deduction, you know what? Come to us. Come to us. Bring that audit issue letter to us, right? Bring that audit tax audit findings letter to us. Let us have a look at it. We can give you a complimentary consultation to see if there is a possibility to fight against the Inland Revenue Board to solve your issue. Yeah, Yusanisma. So if this case is still ongoing, bring it to us, right? We will do a complimentary online consultation for you. Yeah. Okay. Now the other question here from Eric. Eric Lee says, is overdraft interest applicable to this rule as well? Yes, Eric, very much yes. If you take up an overdraft and if you have to pay interest, the usage of the overdraft is also very important. Where have you used this money for? If you can prove this money is used wholly for business, let's say it is used to pay the supplier, it is used to pay your creditors, right? Then you won't get interest restriction. But if you can't prove that, if you can't track the usage, right, then the Inland Revenue Board would definitely say that some part of your overdraft could have been used for business investment, for non-business investment, or use it for some other non-business purposes. So, Eric, again, track the record. Where have you used this overdraft to? Okay. All right, one more question over here is from Chia Tiong Sun. Hi Zan, how about deposit paid to Tenaga National, right, during application of electricity, and then TNB give you a return of interest of about 2% yearly? Will the deposit become subject to interest restriction since the deposit got a return? No, don't worry about this, Chia, don't worry about this. If you say you pay a deposit to TNB, right, and TNB gives you a return of interest about 2%, this is not an investment. Because you see, the reason why you have to put deposit into TNB is not for investment, right? It is because you need electricity, right? So don't worry about deposit placed to obtain electricity or obtain other utilities, yeah? That will not be considered as an investment, right? That is not a non-business investment. So that will not be taken into account when it comes to interest restriction, yeah? So don't worry about it, Chia, all right? Don't worry about that. Okay, do I have more questions? Yeah, I can see I have answered to practically all questions that have been posted. Yeah, well, it's 3:43. Well, we are supposed to hold this session for about 40 over minutes. So I have last 2 minutes. For you to post up questions if you have got any questions at all, right? So our session will open up until 3:45, right? And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask me. Or if you are facing tax audit issue right now, remember we have our complimentary online consultation for you. If you have received a tax audit letter, show us the tax audit letter, show us the tax audit findings, right? We'll see how we can solve the tax audit issue for you, yeah? Because our aim here is to solve tax audit issues, yeah? All right, Eunice has got one more question. Now, Eunice has here, if the loan amount, RM, Ringgit Malaysia, used to buy USD and park FC account, foreign currency account, yeah, for a certain period, gain or loss can be accounted? So you're saying that you take up a loan. You use the loan to buy US dollar, right? And this loan, you put under a foreign currency account. Well, if you put under foreign currency account, right, that is not really an investment unless it is a interest-bearing account, unless it is a fixed deposit account, yeah? Then only it is considered as investment. If you put it under a normal savings or current account, even though it is under foreign currency, the gain or loss don't worry, there will not be any restriction, interest restriction on this, right? Because you're not putting the loan money into an investment, you're putting it into another bank account, and that is not an investment at all. So don't worry about it, Eunice. All right, don't worry about that. Yeah. Okay, Chia Tiong Sun has got another question. If a company get a loan to pay back advance loan from director, is this for any under interest restriction? Now, Chia, if you take up a loan, right, you pay back the advance from a director, right, that means the usage of the loan, is not, right, is not used for business purpose already, right? Unless you can prove that when the director loan money to the company, the director also loan the money for business purpose, right? That, of course, repayment of the advance to the director is okay. That is okay. Yeah. So again, tracking the usage of the loan becomes very important, because you take up a loan, right, and if it becomes a working capital for general usage, right, then we need to see what is the usage of it. Now, so you can show that it is to pay back the director, then we need to look at why was the director lending money to the company. If the director was lending money to the company for the company to run its business operation, then this loan interest is not subject to interest restriction. Okay, Chia, I hope I've answered to you. Ada Wei asked this question: if LHN already audited me and I paid already, can they audit me again after 6 months? Well, Ada, now if they have already audited you, but they usually will not come back and audit the same year, right? They will not audit the same year, but they can come back again even after 6 months. Yeah, they can come back again to audit another year. They can come and audit another year, right? But usually they won't audit the same year unless they found out a huge mistake was made or a huge omission, right? A huge thing that they have not discovered last time. Usually they won't come back, right? But if they really come back, they can, but they will audit another year. They will audit another year, yeah, either way. Okay, Shun is asking, hi Zen, if my company have OD facility and company not using at all, hence my question is whether the commitment fee is tax allowable or not. Okay, very good question, yeah, Shun. Okay, this is what I will tell you, yeah. Okay, you see, if you have overdraft interest, right, that means you have used the overdraft facility. And if you have used the overdraft facility, you should have used it for business purpose, and therefore the interest is deductible because you use an OD for business. But if you have not used the OD, right? You have not used the OD and you got charged a commitment fee, this fee is not actually in the production of gross income. You are not using the facility to make more sales, to make more income. And therefore, the commitment fee is a fee charge on an expense that is not used for business to produce more income. And because of that, the commitment fee becomes non-deductible. See that? Right? The rationale is only expense incurred in the production of gross income is deductible. So the commitment fee is charged on something that you don't use. And if you don't use, you don't produce more income, and therefore commitment fee is non-deductible. Yeah, so I hope I answered to you and you get the rationale behind. Yeah, Shun. Okay, well, it's 3:47 already. Well, I think I probably have to. I mean, if you have more questions, I can still open up for another 3 minutes, maybe, right? Because we're supposed to open this up until 3:45. But you know what? Let me just remind you again, right? If you have got any audit issues, right, feel free to come to us, right? If you have received the audit letters, yeah, all right. Come to us, bring your audit letter to us, we'll see how we can solve it, right? Of course, if you want to follow more on our tax audit issues, right, the techniques to solve our tax audit issues, make sure you stay tuned with our Facebook page, all right, either our YYC Advisors Facebook page or my own Facebook page, Tax Guru Zen Chow, because I'm going to bring more secrets to you, right? I'm going to share more different secrets, right, that I would like to reveal to you on how to handle and solve tax audit issues. Okay, so remember, follow our page, like, share, and follow our page so that you know at the fastest time on when will we have the next issue to be shared with all of you, because I have a lot of secrets to reveal to you all. Okay, so thank you so much for all your time, right? It's almost 1 hour right now. I'm gonna keep this short, right? Keep it sweet and short, and I hope I can see you again in my next session, of which I will review more secrets on techniques to solve tax audit issues. Yeah, so thank you again, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you again next time. All right, so till then, have a great time, have a great day, and remember, if you have got any tax audit issues, don't be afraid, because all issues can be solved with different techniques. Okay, see you again next time. Goodbye, have a great day.
相信我可以，有目标就往上爬。你相信你可以，勇敢的